The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
With so many people living longer, the fear of outliving your money becomes a reality for many of us. Will I be a financial burden? Will I outlive my money? How will I be remembered? My name is Neil Himmelstein, president of Main Street Planning Group. Please contact me by visiting mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. I will introduce you to strategies that will guarantee you will not outlive your money, that can guarantee you will not be a burden on your loved ones. Through a collaborative approach, we will uncover solutions that offer tax-efficient strategies, lifetime income, and legacy planning, choice, organization, direction, and education. That is the code we stand behind. Contact mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. And listen to me every Friday at 3 p.m. as I host the Main Street Code for Financial Success, right here on 103.9 LI News Radio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. If you want to reach me, you can reach me at 631-647-4694. You can always check out my website at themainstreetcode.com. And we pride ourselves in having a code. Our code is choice, organization, direction, and education. And we work with hundreds of advisors across the United States, helping them with their insurance needs. We primarily specialize in life insurance, long-term care, disability, and we do lots of fixed annuities. And today, we are very fortunate to have with us my guest, my work wife and partner, Carmen Sierra. Carmen, say hi.
Hello, how are you?
Terrific. And Carmen does pretty much all our paperwork, but Carmen's expertise in the area of underwriting. Carmen, would you tell everybody a little bit about your background? I was just listening to it, and again, I'm just blown away by your experience and what you do.
Sure, my pleasure. So I have an average of about 40 years in underwriting. I worked with MetLife as a concierge underwriter for 25 years. I also worked with other insurance companies such as ING, AXA, Equitable, and I'm currently at Main Street Planning Group.
Terrific. And, you know, with that underwriting, you also work with Portamed. At one time, you manage an office. Mm-hmm. And what did Portamed do? So
Portamedics, we basically do all the exams, medical records. We control the paramedics that go into the client's home when you need an exam, when you need blood and urine, when you need an EKG in order to underwrite your policy. Portamedics did all the, we took care of all the exams for various insurance companies throughout New York, upstate. We even went as far as Pennsylvania. We did a lot of exams then.
And you got medical records?
Medical records, all the medical records from the doctors. We had also an elite examiners. These were board certified examiners, doctors who did the exams for the larger cases.
So for anybody buying life insurance, behind the scenes, there's a lot going on.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's not just filling out an application and submitting it to the insurance companies. Most insurance companies, they always required a blood exam, urinalysis, and they test for certain aspects of your health, such as diabetes. They do nicotine. They do some drug testing depending on the amount of the insurance. So we had to make sure that we sent good paramedics to do this, the exams. So
an insurance company, before they offer you a policy, your review has to go through some sort of underwriting process.
Yes.
Correct. So now, do all insurance companies look at somebody the same way or no?
I would say so. They basically do. It's an underwriter basically goes by what you present to them. So some underwriters are maybe a little bit more stricter, but yeah, there are guides that basically are used. They use a medical guide that is basically used for all companies, it doesn't change, but of course you also have to use judgment. It's not just looking at a guide and saying, okay, this guy has high blood pressure, I'm going to give him the worst rating. No, you have to use judgment, and you have to look at a case and determine based on what you see. Okay, so maybe this guy has high blood pressure, but he's got good, his weight is normal. So we may be able to give some credits to be able to offer a better premium.
Right. So with that, and this is the difference in working with Main Street Planning Group and working with us, is Carmen is our difference, I have to tell you. But the difference is that we position every client to get the best offer. Unlike if you were to call on a computer or dial 1-800-DIRECT, you don't get that kind of concierge service or the best offer or the best price, or you could be declined. So that's why it's very important to work with us, because we have somebody like Carmen who can position your situation to the carrier or multiple carriers to get the very best offer. And we
that is correct.
Right. We do something else very unique. It's not so unique. I call it old school. But, as time goes on, we lose a lot of that old school ways of doing business. And with all the InsurTech coming on and all the online stuff coming on, that all gets lost with what we did. And one of the things that we pride ourselves in is helping agents or helping clients by putting together a cover letter. Now, can you tell me what a cover letter does? As from an underwriting perspective, when you had a big case or whatever and it was presented to you as an underwriter, not like as we do, what was the difference of having a cover letter for that case when you looked at it?
Okay, so the cover letter familiarizes you with the client, first of all. When you have an application, if you don't have a cover letter, you have to start researching. With the cover letter, you basically know what you're looking at. You get to get an idea what the health history is, what the financial aspect of this case is up front. So you have an idea what to look for, how to prepare yourself to be able to offer the best possible rating or premium for this particular client. So I suggest we should always have a cover letter to be able to familiarize ourselves with each client.
Right. And I compare a cover letter to almost like when you're applying for college, you put together, or a job, you put together a resume, and you want to put your best foot forward. And some of the things that we do in a cover letter, we don't just say, oh, you've got high blood pressure, you've got this, you got that. We don't just talk about the negative things. We talk about a lot of the positive things, right?
Yes.
We talk about whether somebody works out, somebody goes to the gym every day, where they walk. Is somebody charitable? Is somebody have a college education? There's a lot of things that can give you credits, and you taught me this a long time ago. It's kind of like debits and credits. So we're going to ding you for this, but we're going to say he's okay if you do this. Now, if you called up one of these services online, or you looked online and you wanted to buy insurance, they're not going to ask about you. And I think I've seen situations, we see them every day, right? We see situations, I don't want to name names, but we had a situation recently. Somebody was declined online because of a heart thing or this and that, but there was no explanation behind it. And what happens when somebody gets declined from an insurance carrier? What happens if they go to apply somewhere else?
It shows up. They have what they call an MIB record. And this is a bureau that gathers information from all insurance companies. When you get underwritten, if you have high blood pressure, there is a code that goes into the MIB bureau. And so when you apply for insurance, it's our responsibility to get that MIB, and it automatically pops up. Oh, this guy was underwritten. written, let's say 5 months ago, and he had high blood pressure, or, so the more of those, the more negative that becomes to the client. So it's not a good thing.
Right. And what differentiates us from other wholesalers that do what they do, a lot of wholesalers will recommend take applications on multiple carriers. But that could actually hurt you because carrier A could hit it, MIB hit, they see something, then carrier B sees something, and carrier C sees something. Then all of a sudden, everybody sees everything, and then you go to carrier D, but you got A, B, and C already wrong with you. Now you actually hurt yourself and your insurability. You're listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success, and I'm with my dear partner, Carmen, who is an expert in underwriting, which is what makes Main Street Planning Group different than anywhere else. If you want to reach out to me, you can call me at 631-647-4694. If I'm not there, you may get Carmen. You might get lucky, because most people rather talk to Carmen than talk to me, quite honestly. Anyhow, you can reach us then. We're going to be back after a quick commercial break. Thank you, and look forward to talking to you shortly. O'clock. Welcome back to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. If you were listening to us previously, I'm here with my work wife, Carmen Sierra, who is an expert in underwriting, has tremendous experience working as a concierge underwriter for some of the top insurance companies in the United States, and has just tremendous experience. And before the break, one of the things we were talking about was this thing called the MIB, or the Medical Information Bureau. And what the Medical Information Bureau does, again, can you explain that one more time?
Yes, what they do, they work with the insurance industry, and they collect all the information from impairments such as diabetes, hypertension. So if an underwriter has a case that, the client had MIB, that gets coded into the system. So anytime someone applies for insurance, and insurance companies, they have what they call the MIB, which they'll let you know how many times you've applied for insurance. If you have any enforced insurance, if you have, let's say, some people do not know that they have $10,000 of enforced insurance, this gets picked up through that as well. So they accumulate information on people who apply for life insurance.
So an insurance company is going to look at a couple different factors when you apply for an insurance policy. They're going to look at this MIB as one of the first things they look at. So if you go and you apply, and let's say you applied online or you applied somewhere and you didn't tell somebody that you had diabetes, and you applied elsewhere and you were declined, or you had a lung issue or another issue, and you didn't disclose that on the application, and you didn't tell anybody, and it comes up on the MIB, then what happens?
Then what happens is the underwriter, we're very suspicious people, so we do not, we start researching, and we'll say, well, this client wasn't totally honest with us, so that's not a good thing to have when you're applying for insurance, because now the insurance company looks at you at a higher risk.
Correct.
So
that's a very dangerous thing to, maybe I won't tell somebody about something. They'll find out. So they do that, and they also do a credit check. Mm-hmm. And why do they do a credit check? Again,
they want to make sure that you can pay your premium. The larger the case, they want to make sure that you have good record and you're going to pay the premium on a monthly basis, annual basis. So that's a criticism, just as if you have a bad motor vehicle record, that also pops up. And these things can hurt your case, So if you're up front, we know how to put all these things together to make your case a better case.
Right. And with a cover letter that we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. And that cover letter is going to explain the things. Yes, although somebody had a DWI, they went afterwards to AAA or whatever it is. Not AAA, but I had my car towed last night, whatever. Or they real life. Or they go, they went to Alcoholics Anonymous and they did the right things, and we can mitigate or minimize that issue to the insurance company, which is why you work with us, so that we can put that cover and put all this stuff together so that we can put you in the best position to get the kind of coverage you like. Very, very important factor. And it goes unnoticed because people go online. Most people go online. They think Google knows everything. And they look at a price and they go, oh, I'm in great shape. But you got a little issue here. You got a little here. You know, people don't want to. Everybody's in denial. Exactly. And that's the issue. Everybody's in denial. Everybody's in great shape until you talk to them and then you find out, you know, they got. Yeah. So now I want to talk a little bit about, and you hit it on the point, some of the success stories we've had. You mentioned one earlier about. Why don't you talk about that one real quick? Okay,
so we had this client who had been declined. He had an elevated PSA level. He was also a jockey, and he did a lot of horseback riding, right?
Right, but we didn't know that up front.
We didn't know that up front.
So his PSA, if anybody wants to know what a PSA level is, a PSA when you're a man and you get older, it's a measurement of your prostate. And if it's enlarged, it's one of the cancer signs. Is the first thing an underwriter, if they don't know, they think anything over 4.0, this guy's got cancer and he's a decline. And this gentleman came to us as a decline from previous companies. And his PSA level at age 72, because I remember the case very well, was 10.6. And it was erratic. I mean, wow, what a number. So we asked the agent. We went back to the agent and we asked him. He goes, what does this guy do? I mean, he ends up selling, he wasn't just a jockey, he sold horseback riding equipment.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he used to go horseback riding 3-4 days a week. And we know from our experience that could cause elevated PSA levels because it would inflame the prostate. And, you know, one of the little tricks of the trade, and I learned that from a client maybe like 10 years prior who was a decline. And we had an insurance company who, because we put a good cover letter together, only one insurance company accepted it, and they ran a different test. What was that test?
It's called the free PSA.
A free PSA, which I didn't know anything about. And when they read that free PSA, they said, you know what?
You have to ask, it's not a test that they automatically do on a PSA. You actually have to order that.
Correct.
So we, knowing that the free PSA level would be different, we ordered that PSA level, and it came back.
The underwriter came back and said, you're right. And he got preferred underwriting at 72. He got a preferred underwriting class for $3 million. What an amazing...
That was an amazing case.
Yeah, and we've had others. There's a case when Carmen first started working with me. I was never fortunate enough to have someone with her experience. And I'll never forget one of the first cases she had. We had these 3 attorneys, and the underwriter wanted more requirements. They wanted something because he had high blood pressure, this and that. And Carmen looked through his medical records and said, you don't need that. And you have this record, this record, this record. She ties it together. She does it behind the scenes. And the case got issued where it would have taken us maybe 2 or 3 months, and we would have had to ask the client to go take another test. And that's the difference in working with Main Street Planning Group, is that we're able to do success. Sometimes you don't even see the successes, and that's where they come from. Also, sometimes we get cases that come to us from career companies and whatnot that are declines or heavily rated, and we get them standard, preferred, or better
to cut it
with different carriers. Different carriers may look at things a little differently. They may have some of their own underwriting guides, and with an underwriter there and our underwriter, Carmen, we're able to get better offers. And you can't get that online, and you can't get that from the average agent. Doesn't even understand, with all due respect to many of the agents out there, they're not taught this because they're now taught just see a million people and shovel it in, and it doesn't work that way. So we go back to the roots of doing business, and this is how it's done and done well to get the kind of coverage you need. And this is the importance of doing it right and knowing who your client is and knowing who, and we take a personal approach to every client and every situation to maximize the best offers and the best things they can get.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we do it medically. We do it financially as well. There are a lot of things explaining to the insurance company on the outset of just looking at a piece of paper, and he said, well, they don't appreciate maybe the value of land or the value of this. And by doing the cover letter, by doing the research up front, we get the best offers in the United States. I don't know anybody else who does what we do. That's what makes Main Street Planning Group special. Listen, if you want to reach out to me, if you have a situation where you're looking to buy life insurance, you're looking to buy long-term care, your advisor, who's your investment advisor, and you need advice on your existing insurance policies. Maybe your insurance company went out of business. Maybe you need to convert your policy. That's why you reach out to the Main Street Planning Group. That's why you need the Main Street Code for financial success. You need to reach me, 631-647-4694. If you don't get me, you'll get Carmen. And my website is themainstreetcode.com. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend.
Have a great weekend.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.